Sinners is a supernatural film written and directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan as the main lead, where he
Twins?
plays twins.
Nah, we cousins.
One named Smoke and the other named Stack. This is the director's first attempt at the supernatural horror genre. Ryan Coogler has made great films like Creed, Black Panther, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. But the unique thing about this film is that this is also his first time making a movie not based on any story or IP. He's put his own story and own personal history to this film. So let's see how it turned out.
This movie revolves around the twins, Smoke and Stack. They return from Chicago back to their hometown, Mississippi. They were previously working as gangsters in the Chicago area. Using the money they collected from looting and killing people, they plan on operating a juke joint for their local community in Mississippi. Additionally, this movie also centers around Sammy, their younger cousin, who joins them when they return. Sammy is generally fond of the blues music, which he is great at playing as well. But his father thinks playing the blues is against the wishes of God and warns him that the devil will come for him if he continues to play.
Despite his father's opposition, Sammy hangs out with his older twin cousins, helping them in the opening night of their juke joint by playing his guitar, which was given to him by them when he was a kid. Smoke is given the role of the uptight twin who takes things seriously and is focused on getting things done, while Stack is made out to be the more eccentric one in comparison. Although the makers do not make him go too out there, the differences between the twins are prominent enough for the audiences to tell the difference.
I personally like Michael B. Jordan's portrayal of Smoke better than Stack. Smoke is somehow always hinted at being the main character out of the two. He is always seen looking out for Stack and protecting him and his younger cousin Sammy. His portrayal of Stack wouldn't be my favorite, but I'd say it's still pretty good. He really tried not to make him too caricature like, feeling both eccentric but grounded at the same time. But it was definitely more noticeable that portraying Smoke felt a little more natural to him versus portraying Stack.
The standout performances in this film would be of Miles Catton, who portrays Sammy in this movie, and this is surprisingly the first movie he's ever starred in. Both his acting and singing are amazing. We hope to see more films of him in the future. The other standouts include Delroy George Lindo as Delta Slim, a pianist for the juke joint the brothers hire. Every time he is on screen, he really steals the show. You can literally see the blood, sweat, and tears that he put into portraying this character. He doesn't have too many scenes compared to the leads, but him putting so much effort into his craft in his 70s is pretty commendable. Wunmi Mosaku, who plays Annie, Smoke's love interest, also gives a stellar performance.
Let's talk about the positives of the film. It is so refreshing to see a big budget movie that is not based on any IP or already existing story. The audiences are pretty tired of that, and this is such a breath of fresh air to see. In my opinion, the soul of the movie lies in its portrayal of culture, tradition, music, love, friendship, and a sense of community. The scene in the juke joint where Sammy plays the music and everyone dances along is the absolute best scene of the movie. The visual direction and music is just amazing here. While Sammy sings his song, the visuals depict music, dance, and culture throughout the ages of various different ethnicities. It really drives home the connection humans have with one another through the power of music. This scene was expertly handled by Ryan Krugler.
This story is also woven with so many cultural and historical references. Stack and Smoke, coming back from Chicago after World War I, is a direct reference to what was going on after World War I ended in 1918. After the war, a wave of Black American soldiers were seen returning from the war to their hometowns. They were expecting an elevated sense of respect and better job opportunities in their towns since they served in the war. But what they got instead was blatant, violent backlash fueled by racism and job discrimination by white supremacist groups. This film's opening also reintroduces us to the griot and its lore. They are performers or poets, but they also have access to ancestral memory. They remember a lot of what came before them, the wisdom and victories of ancestors, the lineage of kings and their dynasties, etc. This concept does not just exist within the African community, a similar group of people are also known to have existed in other cultures in other parts of the world, for example, firekeepers and Philly.
Such deep rooted and culturally rich references make this film stand so far apart compared to the mishmash of rehashed IPs that are put out in theaters today. The background score and the music of this film is what elevates it to another different level. Ludwig Göransson did an amazing job making the film feel intimate and culturally rooted.
Now let's talk about the negatives. The first half of the movie is pretty slowly paced. It is understandable that they took the time to develop the characters of the movie. They focus more on the twins and Sammy, but they left out the story of the vampires and what their characters were like. We wish they took some time out to develop their characters as well as the other villain, Hogwood. We don't see much of Hogwood until the end of the movie, so we wish we had at least a few more scenes of him as a character as well. The motivations of the vampires was just barely mentioned. We wish they could have had very well fleshed out characters as the villains with concrete motivations that make the audiences invested and root for the good guys even more.
They did a great job detailing the characters of the humans, but we feel like the villains were kind of ignored as characters and treated just as your run of the mill bad guy who does bad stuff just because he's bad.
We gonna kill every last one of you.
Overall, I feel like the movie would have been just as special even without the whole vampire arc. The conflict of Sammy with his father, the decision he makes by choosing his happiness despite him knowing that musicians mostly don't end up making money, the interactions of the twins with each other, their motivations and their feelings of returning to their hometown after a long time, getting to see their love interests after a long gap as well. All these are the anchors of the movie. Although this whole vampire thing is probably a reference to racism and politics as well, we still feel like the heart of this film is definitely the characters of the humans.
This is the Movie Magnet Podcast. If you liked the video, please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye!